Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 268. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Mondays with Mello. You guys know what time it is. Today, we're discussing book fairs and festivals. This past weekend, did a Black Authors Meet and Greet book fair / festival in Tempe, Arizona. It was from 1 to 5 Mountain Standard Time, and it was a lot. It's a lot to prepare beforehand, when you get there, the whole process, and then after. So, I'm going to kind of give you a glimpse into what all of this consists of when it gets down to doing events like this. It's a lot because you have to really prepare yourself, not necessarily for the book festival itself, but a lot of stuff beforehand. So it's ordering the books, obviously, but for me, it was choosing the books that I was going to take. I'm at 50 books at this point, and you guys know good and well that carrying 50 books to a book festival and trying to fit them all on a table is not possible. So, had to decide on 7. So I decided on The Struggles and Growth of a Man, Part 1, Code Blue, An Ode to the Badge, Part 1, A Man's Plight, Part 1, A Woman's Worth, Part 1, I Woke Up a Black Man, Living Life to the Fullest, and there was one more. Can't remember off the top of my head, but I had 7 books in a nutshell. Oh, Alphabet City 1, actually. Yeah, I definitely took Alphabet City 1. So when you decide to, do certain books, you have the mindset of, okay, I'm taking a few that are book series, and then I'm taking some that are standalones because I'm trying to cater to an audience. So overall, I did very, very, very well at the book fair. It was great. I met a lot of great people. The books that sold the most was Code Blue, Part 1, I Woke Up a Black Man, and The Struggles and Growth of a Man, Part 1. I did learn that Living Life to the Fullest did not get as much attention, even though it does focus on really living your life the way you should and not taking it for granted. So, when there is another book festival down the road, I'm most likely not taking Living Life to the Fullest. I may take One Drink Too Many, or I, may take another standalone book. I don't know. But the reason why I tried to vary it a little bit is because, like I've said, there are people who love to read book series, but then there are people who are the standalone books type of people. So I needed to balance it out a little bit. I had a good amount of book series material. So once I decided, that and having the books, then it's, getting, something where it shows the prices of your books instead of me having to remember them, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way in the world I remember the prices of all 50 of my books. It's not even possible. If I remember 10, I'm lucky. So there's that. So I had, typed up something, printed it out, where I live, and bought some laminate sheets that you actually can do on your own. You don't even have to go to, a certain store to get it done anymore. And I didn't even know that. So the things you learn, right? So I had that done. I had to get a bag that can fit all my books in it, and I can carry it in my hand. I'm not the person who's trying to carry all those books on my back. I'm 40 years old. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm trying to shoulder a load and try to be Mr. Strongman. I'm good with that. I also bought some shopping bags and some little magnets that are bookmarks for when you're reading a book. So that was pretty cool. I think I was the only one who had shopping bags, so I think that was pretty good for people. So if they bought a book from me and then they bought, another book or two, they can fit it in that shopping bag. So I did very well with that, and that was a pretty good small investment. When you do book festivals, you got to gauge what works for you, what doesn't. A lot of people get signage stuff and, they order certain things, banners, things like that. It's good to kind of, show yourself a little bit, but I like to keep it simple. And I got a tablecloth, a black tablecloth for my table. So that was good. Looks good from a presentation standpoint. So once you you decide all of these things, you got to pack the bag, you got to make sure, you're good as far as, knowing what you're going to wear, all that stuff. Cool. Travel there wasn't too bad. About 20 minutes. Get there. There's 3 authors that I know already from a previous event that I had met them at, and some other things where we've crossed paths. I will say that here in Phoenix, it's a smaller, more closer knit community among Black people and, Black writers, Black creators, Black artists. Everybody knows everybody for the most part. So that's a beautiful thing. So once you meet people, start building connections, you connect the dots to certain people, people introduce you to other people. So I think that's a great aspect of, living here in Arizona, and the fact that I'm in year 3 of living here. I'm starting to meet a lot more people. I've met a ton of people just in my building alone. I mean, I go sit at the pool and read a book and start talking to people, but neither here or there. Book event was great. And what you have to do is you really have to prepare yourself from an energy standpoint. You got to make sure, you eat good before you go to the event. And, just be prepared to just meet people and greet and be engaging. And those things are very, very important because it creates a lasting impression on certain people. And that part, I think I do very well with that. I'm very personable. Well, when I get to know people and I, get to feel their energy, things of that nature. I did sell a good amount of books. I did very well, and I'm very happy with that. I count my blessings. I really thank God for all of that. And I will say that was the second one that I've done on my 7-year journey. The first one I didn't go well at all. And that one was in Los Angeles. That was a few years ago. I got a vacation out of it, but I also had a very heavy bag to take home full of books because I didn't sell anything. The book festival just was not that great. It was on a weekend where there were a lot of other events going on. So it was clashing with, I think, a huge book fair that was going on at UCLA, I think. So that made it even tougher. So I think that crowd that would have came to that book fair that I was at with other authors, they were at, UCLA. So that, was a clash that I didn't even realize or think of until I got there. But I did get a vacation out of it. I did, get to, go around LA, see things, have fun. I linked up with, a friend. We hung out, all that good stuff. So I will say that one wasn't much of a success, but this one here was a much better event. It was a little more close knit. It wasn't as many authors as the one that I went to in LA. Sometimes that has an effect too. What I've learned from this festival is the more books you have, the more options you have, the more inclined people are going to figure out a book that does interest them. I did pay attention to a lot of other authors and things of that nature. A lot of authors had one book or their first book, or they had 2 books. And, sometimes it's hard, when, readers don't know who you are yet, or don't know you as an author or anything like that. So my advantage, a little bit was having 7 out of my 50 books there. So that helped my cause. There was one lady who actually bought 3 of my books, which was very good. And, if you bought 3 of my books, depending on which ones they were, I, kind of, you know, cut off a few dollars, because you're really going out of your way to support me. And with every purchase, you got the shopping bag, got your book in it. It was already autographed. If people wanted a special note, I would, write a special note in there, things of that nature. There was a mother who bought The Struggles and Growth of a Man Part 1 for her son. So I wrote a note for him. So just a lot of great memories, from Saturday. I enjoyed it. Looking forward to some more events. I think there may be more in the future. That one was the second event by the company that did it, which was Rep Your Brand. They are on social media. They all are on Instagram. So what I will say is if you're going to do, book festivals, events, it doesn't even have to be books. It can be, things that you make or anything like that, whether it's jewelry or art or things like that. If you have variety, it does help in a lot of ways. It really does. So I think the next event that I do, I will take the majority of the books, obviously, that sold, which was I Woke Up a Black Man, which drew a lot of attention. Code Blue, I'm going to sit here and tell you right now, Code Blue, I kept being asked if I was a police officer, and I'm like, no, I'm not. So this book is that book, that book, the first one, along with the other 4, which is a 5-book series. It breaks it down. I write it from my perspective, and with Code Blue 1, the real question is who are making the decisions and who are making the orders for the police officers on patrol. And I'll address that more later this week on my Book Insight Friday, because there were just a lot of questions that I kept getting asked in regards to Code Blue Part 1, and there is a little tidbit that I will share on Friday about that. So I will say, it takes a lot of energy out of you. I tell you that. Being personable for, I would say, 5 hours for the most part, about 5.5, because I got there at 12, set up. You run into, the guys that you're talking with them, you're setting up everything, you meet a couple of other people, then the book festival starts at 1, it goes all the way till 5, and then I didn't leave till close to about 5:30 to come back home. The good thing is I got some good pictures, and I did get to go up in front of everybody, and, do a little presentation. We all as authors got 5 minutes to speak on our journey, our writing, talk about our books. We can read, a passage from our books, things of that nature. Because I had 7 books, I'm not going to have time to really go into full detail of why I wrote these books, things of that nature. But I kind of advertised my podcast a little bit within the mix. And then after I did my presentation, after everyone did their presentations, a couple of more people ended up coming to my table because of, what I spoke about on my journey. So definitely promoting yourself. I don't want to necessarily say selling yourself. I think it's everyone has a story and we all need to share it. And, whether it's a journey of your own that turns into a self-help book or turns into social issues type of books like me, or even just writing books based off of, what you thought as a kid. There weren't enough books, so you wanted to write a little fantasy novels or things like that. So it all depends. Everyone had unique stories, and, some people experienced some unfortunate losses in their lives as far as family members, which inspired them to write books. So it was beautiful to see. What I will say is I do have all of my content posted on my social media pages. So you can go check out the presentation on YouTube and TikTok. I posted a lot of pictures on Instagram. So you can, see, my posts on that. And I will be talking more in detail as time goes on this summer about, promoting yourself and really putting yourself out there. Because as Simon Sinek says, people are going to invest into you pretty much based on your story for the most part, not just the product. All right, guys, that's my podcast for today. I thank you guys for listening. As always, have a good week, everyone. Be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.